I'm Richard Crocker and I work for Edyn. I'm the UK Director of Business Development and mainly responsible for the growth of extended stay business into our portfolio in the UK. I think there's several things which sets it apart, the experience really, from the obvious having the extra room to having your kitchens and washing facilities. You just allows you greater freedom for how you choose and want to stay. So it appeals to quite a lot of travellers. I'd say that most service apartment and apart hotels are centrally located in cities, so there's plenty on your doorstep. So it's not just about the apartment experience. At Edyn, our properties are available from 1 night to a year, so there's no real restrictions there. So I think that hotels can seem quite samey and rigid, and with our properties, we offer a variety of options for travellers. We tend to work with designers who share and embrace our concept of soulful hospitality. They're quite brave in their design choices when it comes to the design of how we want to open our properties. So we have 3 brands. With our Lock brand, each of these properties has its own identity, especially in the community and location that they're in. The brand creates quite a bit of excitement, and it seems to have a bit of a what's coming next design element to them. They will have co-working spaces, pop-up restaurants and bars, and we will work with local creatives in the neighbourhood to create something new for the community. Then with our Cove brand, so this is a Cove property we're in now in Canary Wharf, we opened this brand a couple of years ago to meet that demand for larger, well-designed serviced apartments, where you can really sort of make the most of having some time in the apartments, but also there's a blend of spaces in the Cove properties, so you can use them on your own, invite people in, and again, they're located quite centrally in good cities. Then I should mention lastly that we have our original Seiko brand, which is what we've had around for a number of years now. Still important for us, especially in the extended stay market, where we have larger 1, 2 and 3 bed apartments in Seiko, and they are really perfect for relocations and long stays, but also a short private break. We really try and focus on community and experience at Edyn. It goes through some of the brands again. In Lock, we have curated events weekly per each of our properties, from Muscal tasting to enchanted cinemas in the summer in our gardens in Cambridge, to DJ nights in Manchester on a Friday, to gym and boot camp classes in London and Dublin, to there's a real selection of things that guests can take part in if they want to. At both Lock and Cove, there's free co-working spaces for guests. That's also welcome to anyone, to the general public. So people, we would encourage the community to come and use our spaces as well, grab a coffee and work for a couple of hours. On the Lock brand as well, we have really exciting sort of local food operators operating in our food and beverage spaces there. They really can vary from a vegan Asian restaurant in Lehman Lock in Aldgate East in London to a Michelin-starred restaurant in Munich in one of our properties there, and everything in between. So, but they're all got an emphasis on the sort of local providers. We also, again, across all of our brands, there'll be local experts working on properties to really give guests a good experience. Ultimately, serviced apartments is that everything's including the cost up front. You're not paying additional bills and facility and utility costs. So, they should be thinking that it's priced like a hotel. You're paying for your stay, and that includes everything. But you have an apartment to be in rather than a traditional hotel. I think possibly that it seems a bit outdated, that term, serviced apartments, especially as I think now in the industry there's a lot of apart hotels, and that's kind of the future growth, especially within our company, and that's where you're really getting more of a blend of those hotel elements into apartment living. So don't be scared of that word serviced apartment. It really does encompass the full cost. So far we've run a few events which you've been really supportive of and turned up to and embraced some of our products, whether that be a Cove or a Lock property in Cambridge and in London. the way I think you're working with us is brilliant. You know, the exact type of client that we want to nurture and work with. So no, I'm excited, and you know, you're the first people to do this for a start, so that must say something about where you're coming from, and hopefully it's going to be a good relationship for the years to come. Learned a lot through that. Our health and safety policies continue to be rigorous. Offering sort of safety and security to our guests is paramount. We use enhanced cleaning techniques, high-end products to clean our units, but we also ensure that our housekeeping teams have as much time as required to service apartments. So you wouldn't have 15-20 minutes like you might have in a hotel. Until it's ready, whether that's hours, they have that time to service apartments properly. We also, the wide majority of our properties have 24/7 receptions and security. Where we have unmanned units, we will have evening security, and it's supported centrally 24/7. Looking at last year, Edyn had a GRI score, or a Global Review Index score, collectively across our portfolio of 89%, so really quite high in the market. We also had an NPS, or Net Promoter Score, of positive 64, and then really our GSS, or Guest Satisfaction Surveys, came out last year collectively as 4.6 out of 5. We survey every guest that stays in any of our properties, so we're continuously getting feedback. The majority of our properties have no restrictions on the length of stay, and there's a range of apartment types from studios to up to 2 and 3 beds, so there's something for every type of traveller for any length of stay. Also to mention, in our larger apartments, so in this property, there's sofa beds in 1-bedroom apartments. We can get extra cots and beds in for families. We also have a really flexible 24-hour cancellation policy for bookings up to 28 nights. Then it's 7 days for stays thereafter. That's quite a good period of time for service departments. But we have weekly housekeeping, which is, it's not just environmentally better. By only servicing weekly rather than daily, that helps keep costs down. Each property will have a revenue management team looking at market conditions and making sure that we are remaining competitive for the different times of the year. Then, having that range of apartment types, as I mentioned, we're not compromising on quality or features. So in a studio apartment, you still have a kitchen, washing facilities. You're just sacrificing a little bit more on sort of square footage, but it really helps for people with a lower budget. We're actually very close to publishing a sustainability report, the first that we're doing in a couple of weeks, aligned with our future plans for ESG, and that sustainability information and energy usage will be available for guests to view in their smart TVs in their apartments. So it kind of allows them to have make their own choices on how sustainable they're being. On to sort of developments, I mentioned some of the cities that we're going to be opening in the next few years. In July, we're opening our first West London property, Ember Lock in Kensington. Then that's shortly followed by our third property in Germany, in Berlin, in Eastside Gallery. And then later, November and into the winter, we're opening in Zurich. Again, another lock property, but all very exciting because they're all new destinations for us. Well, stay on your own terms, really. If you want to just choose to just be in your apartment, get a takeaway and watch Netflix, do that. If you want to be in an apart hotel, where you could do that, or you want to go and sample the food in the restaurant, use the spaces, take part in some of the events, that's an option for you as well. If you're staying for a few nights, try and mix up a bit of both. I'm fortunate that when I stay away with work, I'm staying in a service apartment or a apart hotel, and sometimes I'll just want to be in my apartment and see no one. That's fine. Other times I want to experience the neighbourhood and go and meet people. So I think you'll really enjoy the experience and having that freedom of choice.